Okay, so in this discussion, we're going to be looking at the CNOS 5112 assignment, the first part of the assignment. Now you can see that I've got here your take-home exam is due 29 November. Your take-home test is on 29 September, and this assignment is due on the 12th of October. So that's the due dates according to your assessment timetable for semester 2. Looking at your CNOS assignment now, you've got a summary of the mark allocation. You can see that the assignment comprises of question 1 and question 2, which is practical. Now, in question 1, remember all of this is done on one document. So you can do exactly the same thing that we have done before, right? Remember that you need to create and format a Word document with your assignment. So I'll just go through that again quickly. So I create a new Word document. So I'll go to File, New, and then Word document. I'll first save it, File, Save As. And then I'm going to look for my CNOS folder on my OneDrive. So I've got it here, CNOS 5112, and I'll give it a proper name. So this is CNOS 5112. This is my assignment. My name is Subain, my student number, and I'm SCS student. Okay. So immediately, just by looking at the name of the document, I know this is my CNOS assignment document, and I'll save it in my CNOS folder. I'll insert a cover page. So I go to Insert, Cover Page. I choose a simple cover page. Document title is CNOS assignment. Then I can see that I've got, my name is at the bottom. So this is CNOS assignment, my student number, and my group is HCS. Abstract, I don't need an abstract, so I'm just going to delete this one because I don't need it. And then I've got my name, and then any other details that I need to include, I can put in the date there as well. So they've got email address there, so I can put in my email address. Right, so I've got a cover page. Next, I'll need a table of contents. But before I get to the table of contents, I'll need to put in the questions inside my assignment. So I'm going to insert a blank page, and then I'm going to start looking at my assignment questions. So I go to my assignment, and I can see I've got question 1, and then question 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So question 1, I'm just going to copy that and put it in here. And then I'm going to copy in the rest of the questions. So 1.1, 1.2 is pro forma invoice. And 1.3 is network diagram. So at this stage, you should have completed most of question 1 point or question 1. No, it's for here. I'm going to put it back here. Right. So I've got question 1 questions in there. So this is going to be heading 1. Then question 1.1 will be heading 2. Question 1.2 will be heading 2. Question 1.3 would be heading 2. Then similarly, I'm going to format my document for the next question. Question 2, practical based questions. Okay, so I'll write question 2. And then 2.1. So how many questions do I have? Question 2.1 going up to 2.8. And then question 3 is a reflective report. So then I'll format these as well. This will be heading 1. And these are all heading 2. And this one here is heading 3 again. Heading 1. Okay, so then I've created my assignment document. So I can go up here now and create my table of contents. So I go to references. And from references, I'm going to select table of contents, and there's table of contents automatic. And you can see it's inserted my table of contents with question 1, 2, and question 3. So then I can update it as I go along. So I've got a cover page, I've got a table of contents, and then I've got my question starting. So the first one is about the different versions of Windows 10. That's relatively straightforward. The next one is on the pro forma invoice. And the next one is on compare various networking models supported by different versions of Windows 10. Contrast the integration of peer-to-peer and domain-based networks in the Windows 10 environment. Let's just see if that's the correct questions. Okay. Now let's move on to the practical. Installing Windows 10, question 2.1. If I look at 2.1, what are the screenshots that they require? Okay, for 2.1, they said install Windows 10 on 2 assistance machines. Rename the desktops MLAPCO1 and CO2. So you need to have installed 2 Windows 10 computers. So where do I go to do this? I'm going to go to my virtual lab. So I open up a browser. From my browser, I go to labs.azure.com. I'll sign in. So I'm going to start my virtual machine. It must say that it must be running. So, and then I'll connect to my lab. So I'll refresh this a couple of times whilst it's connecting. Okay, so my virtual computer is running. I'll connect to it. And I'll say yes. Okay, so I can see I'm inside of my virtual computer now in the lab. So I go and open up Hyper-V. In my virtual Hyper-V, you can see I've already got two Windows 10 computers, but I'm just going to install another one so that you can see how the installation works. and how to install each of the two virtual computers that you require. So I go to New, Virtual Machine, go Next. This is now going to be Suben Win 10, and this is C. I go Next, Generation 2, 2000, Next. I'm going to connect it to the default switch for now. Next. I leave this as usual. Go Next. Install an operating system. I go to the desktop and I ensure that from the desktop, I go into ISO and I select Windows 10 Pro. Open, Next, and then Finish. There's the machine that has been created. I highlight it, and then I click on Connect, and then I can start the virtual computer. Right, I can just reset here and then press any key. And now it starts with the installation of Windows 10. So we'll go through the steps for the installation of Windows 10. So initially it's going to ask me here. I leave all of this as default because I'm going to change all of this later on. So I don't have to make any changes just yet. I will make the changes later on. Which version? I'm going to select the Windows 10 Pro Education Edition. I'll go Next. I need to accept the license agreement. Go Next. I'm going to click on Custom. I leave the drive space as it is, and I go Next. Now it will start copying the files. Okay, so whilst this machine is on, I'm going to open up another machine now, and I'm going to show you how to add an additional hard drive. So whilst this is copying. So let's say, for example, on this virtual computer here, Windows 10B, right? Let me just start it and see what's there first. Okay, so this installation is also running in the background. Okay, so I'm going to let this installation complete. Let's see if it allows me to open up my next virtual machine. So on the bottom here, I can see that I've got 10C that is busy running, 44%, 10B, 46%, and let's see if I'm connecting now to 10A. Yes. So I'm going to log in. Now, on this virtual computer, I'm going to see that I've currently got, storage spaces that we are required to create require additional hard drives. So this is now speaking to question 2.2. If I go inside my file explorer here, let me just maximize that. Okay, so if I go inside my file explorer, I can see currently on this PC, I've got one local disk. So if I'm going to try to create storage spaces, it's not going to allow me to create mirrored disks, etc. So how do I add now an additional hard drive? I'm going to close this virtual computer, and I'm going to go now. So 10A is currently running. I'm going to turn it off. So it's busy shutting off that PC, which is 10A. Okay, so whilst it's doing that, I'm going to go now to settings. And this is the settings now for this virtual computer 10A. Here I can add additional hardware. Okay, so currently I can see that I've got a hard drive on my SCSI controller. Okay, there's one hard drive here on the SCSI controller. So if I click on the controller, I can select hard drive and I can select add. Now it's giving me a new hard drive. I'm going to create a new virtual hard disk, and I'm going to say new. I'll go next. It's dynamic. Next. What are you going to call it? This is for my Windows 10. So the hard drive is for Suben Win 10A, and this is HD2 for the second hard drive. And then I'm going to go next, next, and then finish. Now you can see on the SCSI controller, I've got hard drive 1 and hard drive 2 that I've created. Okay, so I'm going to go OK. And then I'm going to connect back to this virtual computer. So I'll connect. I will log in. Right. So I've logged in now to my 10A virtual computer. So here now I'm going to go to my file explorer. When I'm done with the demo. So here, now if I go to this PC, it is still showing me only one local disk. So I need to go and ensure that I can import this disk. So where do I go? I go to my disk management. So on the start, I'm going to right click and then I'm going to go to my disk management. And as soon as I open up my disk management, you will see it says initialize a disk. So I can see initialize a disk and then I click on OK. Now you can see that I've got disk 0 and I've got disk 1. And this then disk 1 is showing as unallocated. All right. So I've initialized the disk. This is the original hard drive that I've got here. This is the hard drive that I've added. So now if I go into storage spaces, they tell me to create a storage space. So I can type in here storage. Under storage, I can see it says manage storage spaces. So manage storage spaces now says I can create a new pool and storage space. So I can then click on this. I'll say yes. It shows me that I've got a drive that I can select, unformatted, and I can say create pool. And now I go back to my assignment and I look at what did they tell me to do. So if I look at my assignment now, where's my assignment? There's my assignment. Create a storage space on MLA PC01. The pool name must be called MLA data. Okay. Now, for each of these, always include your first name. Okay. So when you are creating any of these things, always put in your first name. So if the pool name is called MLA data, I'm going to call it Subain MLA data. So name and drive letter. The storage space that they said must be right. So if I split my screen, I can see it. So the full name is Subain MLA data. Right, resiliencies type, it says two-way mirror, and drive letter is E. Size must be 100 gigs. Right, so I need an additional hard drive. Where do I go again? I close this. I'm going to turn virtual machine A off. Then we just check on the other virtual computers. Again, to add a new hard drive, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to click on the SCSI controller. I'm going to click on hard drive and click on add. New virtual hard disk. So this one is going to be Suben Win 10A, and this is hard drive 3, HT3. Sorry, not the path. I want to click new. So I'm going to connect to that machine again. Right. So once I'm back inside the virtual computer, I go to disk management. It'll ask me now to initialize the next disk. I'll say OK. And now you can see I've got disk 0, disk 2, and I should have 3 disks here. So this one is showing disk 0, disk 2, and the CD-ROM. Okay, so we need to go and correct the storage settings. Let me close this one. Right, let's complete the installation. So I'm going to set it up for personal use. I'm going to choose offline account. And then I'm going to give it a name, which is going to be my first name. And a password. So I set it up for personal use. Offline account. My name. Next. Password. Re-enter the password. Answer the security questions. Right. So then once I've completed the installation, it allows me to connect to the virtual computer. And when I'm done, I can then save it. So I'm going to save this one here. And I'm going to continue with this one. Do you want history? I'm going to select no. Help from digital assistant. I'm going to decline. I'm going to accept the privacy settings. Connect. Right, and then I'm going to save this machine. So I've successfully installed 2 Windows 10 computers. You can see it's saved here. Then I'm going to close the Hyper-V and I'm going to disconnect from this computer. I'll go back into my browser and I'll turn off the virtual computer here, the lab, disconnect from the lab.